Oh my goodness. Sorry, we're running a couple of minutes late. We had some, technical difficulties. Okay, so for those of you who don't know what you're watching, we're streaming on a bunch of different platforms. I'm Rebecca Dixon. I am the founder of FanGrrrl Romance Rex, which is a book recommendation group on Facebook that's kind of blown up to being kind of everything. Guest hosting book signings and newsletters and lots of giveaways for authors and now spotlights for authors. So the book recommendation groups on Facebook are for real recommendations. It's a readers group. And because of that, we really limit the promotions that authors can do in the group because we don't want the wall to look like a Facebook ad. We want it to have this book bestie feel where you can go and find the latest and greatest thing that everyone's reading, or maybe something like a hidden gem or whatever. And anyway, so it's really like a readers group. And so because of that, I wanted to start doing these author spotlights where authors in the group can sign up to do to hop on a live and have some more visibility. And so this is being streamed in the FanGrrrl Romance Rex, Urban Fantasy and Romantasy Paranormal Romance group. It's being streamed in the FanGrrrl Romance Rex Edgy Contemporary Romance group, the FanGrrrl Romance Rex Authors Corner, the FanGrrrl Romance Rex Facebook page, and the YouTube channel for FanGrrrl Romance Rex, and Instagram. So it's kind of like, so, don't be nervous, authors that are about to come on, they can see me talking. But anyways, it's just fun. And it's an opportunity for them to come on here and tell you a little bit about themselves and, why they started writing, what their current books are, what genre they write. And then you can just get a sense or a feel if it's something that you want to go pick up on Amazon and give a try. So that's why we do these. So I'm going to start pulling them in. So today we have 3 authors. And just give me 1 second. I want to make sure I'm in the right place here. I've got a new streaming service that I'm trying to learn. And comment too, by the way, so we know you're watching. And you have to give Restream access with your name or we don't know who you are. It will just say like Facebook user. But anyway, so comment and say hi. And so we're going to go through, bring on 3 authors today. Lorelei Libretto, KD Fraser, and Chandelle LaVaun. No, Chandelle LaVaun. Oh my God. This was going to always happen. You have to forgive me. Yes, I got it right, LaVaun. I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh. I was talking to her last night and I was like, I know so many authors, but I don't know every author and forgive me. So anyway, so we're bringing her on. I know she has a lot of fans in the group and they're really excited to see her. So, all right. So I'm going, oh yeah, we have people saying hi. Hi people. Tell us who you are. Oh, we got someone on here from England. That's so cool. So we'll try to answer your comments as we're going and the best that we can. So, it is what it is. I'll try to do the best that I can. All right. So let me bring on our first author, Lorelei.
Hi.
Hi, Lorelei. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited to be here too. This is really big.
Yeah. So you have been, there's a bit of an echo. I'm hearing myself. I don't know. Does it sound like you can hear echo on your end? No? Okay.
I'm fine.
Okay, that's weird. Okay. Or moving on. So you have been in the Facebook group, the main one, right? The big 45,000 member group for a while. And I've seen you in there.
About a year.
A bit. Yeah. But you're very active in the group, right? I see you on the Wednesday One ad posts. I see you on the Promo Mundo posts. I see you in Author's Corner. I think I see you in the After Dark group too, right?
Yeah.
So I was super excited when we set this up for you to come on because I've seen you so many times, but I haven't had a chance to talk to you and get to know you. So I was just really excited that we have this time today to do that.
Well, thank you. I've actually only been publishing for just over a year.
Yeah.
Weird story. I was actually in a car accident and I broke my ankle really badly and I was on bed rest for almost a year.
Oh,
and
no.
I just stuck in bed and I had the TV and my own thoughts and that's it. And so by the time I was able to start getting out of bed, I could have about 20 minutes up and then I just had to get off my foot. I could not stay on my foot.
Yeah.
And I took that to sit down. The only thing I could do was sit at the computer and write. And I've always wanted to write. And so I just started writing the stories that had been going through my head when I had nothing else to do.
Yeah.
So
You just
yeah,
did it. So, we hear people say all the time that they want to write, but they just don't know how to start. And I think that's definitely a silver lining, right? Coming out of such a
oh
terrible
yeah.
experience. Really. So,
I had so much guilt before of, wasting time instead of being productive or something else. And you know what? This is something that I can do that no one else can do because no one else has the stories in my head and theirs.
that's right. That's right. That's right. Definitely. And, we all have stories that we can share. And it's really cool that when people finally, get that extra confidence or that time or whatever to actually start, doing it. And that's like what I love to see in this group is all the different authors and all the different ones that, we've got authors that are just starting out. We have authors that have, been doing it for a while. We have authors that are like on the bestseller list. Like they're all like areas of the spectrum. And it's just so cool to like talk to them and understand, like what you just said, that story of like how you got started. So it's pretty cool. So,
Yeah.
well, tell us about your books and your genres and like what you write and why you write the genre and what books you have out right now.
Okay. So big questions. So I do urban fantasy. Um, and I write I could say
Skip the
shifter
romance?
romances, but
Yeah.
honestly, there's a lot of world building and they're very plot heavy. They're not so um they're about 50% romance, 50% real lots of stuff happening story, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So more like action oriented plot line. And you still have the romance aspect, but it's not heavy on like the spice.
Yeah, I run about
Okay.
a 2 spice and about a 2 dark on average. Books vary a little bit. Um, and for trigger warnings, if I haven't hit your trigger, I will. Don't worry, I'll get to you in a moment. I guarantee it. Um, so my first book was just supposed to be a one-off. You know,
Right.
I saw this thing that said all these werewolf books get it wrong, instead of this big, strong, manly alpha coming in to dominate everybody. Werewolves Werewolf packs are actually families. They would be the family with 10 kids roughhousing on the lawn whose parents are, a little crazy and embarrass their kids and just are really easygoing. And I thought, that's what I'm writing. That's what I've got. And then the other thought that had been going through my head was, what if a werewolf didn't know they were a werewolf? And
Hmm.
so that was my first book.
Oh,
Um,
lift it a little higher so we can see the bottom of it.
Finding the Wolf.
Finding the wolf. Okay.
And it's basically there's someone who is Vara has just aged out of foster care.
Right.
Um, and she's trying to make it on her own, new way, new adult stuff. Um, and the first night in her new apartment, she runs into this guy at a restaurant, and he's trying to get to know her and going a little fast to be comfortable. And on her way home, a stray dog starts following her. And the stray dog starts coming over, and then at other times the guy's texting her, and it's very much, you've got a werewolf who's just met his mate who has no idea what any of this is. And a lot of the book is from her perspective, though I write in third person. And I write in third person because honestly, when I read the books that alternate perspectives, I get confused and go back, wait, who's saying this? Because it really makes a difference who's saying this.
Yeah. Yep. Some people love multiple POVs, some not so much. Some people love, so like I was at the authors panel at FFB last weekend in Manchester, and Donna Grant was talking, and she was the only author I think on the panel that wrote in third person. But she
Mhm.
just, she really explained kind of like why, traditionally a lot of books were in third person, right? And it's a newer thing that we're doing first person. And there's
Yep.
just a lot of people that still really love that. And I see readers all the time that will say, "Oh, it's first person. Oh, I wish it was third person," or vice versa. So you
Yeah.
just gotta write what you enjoy, and what
Yeah.
you love.
So
Yeah.
I have a non-omniscient narrator.
Okay. So
Um,
explain what that means.
so what that means, omniscient means it's all knowing, and you have the narrator who can sit and go, "This is what's happening," but like in when I my narrator still knows only what the person that I'm talking about knows. So if
Okay.
I focus on, like a a section, a chapter, whatever, I'm focusing on a person. And as I said, the first book is almost exclusively Vara's point of view, but other books go back and forth. And that's because Dell knows she's a werewolf and she doesn't.
Right.
And I have to keep that her not knowing instead of jumping into him knowing. Um, so like if someone doesn't know a name and it's from their perspective, I will be calling it the red-haired woman until they find out the name of the person that they're seeing.
Okay, that makes
Um,
sense.
you
Yeah.
know, they won't be able to read other people's feelings when it's from their perspective, but when it jumps to the other person's perspective, so it's kind of like the best of both worlds, in my opinion, where
Sure. Yeah.
I've got the emotions and the insight, but I don't keep getting confused about who I is at that time. So
Right. Well, so I like to read the books ahead of time before I do the spotlights. Ideally, right? So when I'm talking to author, I've read their work. With FFB going on, I haven't had the chance to read all books from all
oh yeah,
three authors, right? But I did pick up the one that you recommended today. Yes. Yes. So I started that actually over lunch, and I read just a little bit, not far into it. But what I can say is that sometimes you pick up third person POV writing and you don't ever forget that you're reading someone narrating. Like you just like you never. And I think some of the people who don't like third person, it's because they're constantly being reminded that they're being narrated. I didn't get that sense from you. I got a sense that, I mean, I just kind of fell into it and I forgot that it was third person POV. It was very natural, and I think from what I read, it was really well written. I mean, I didn't go far, but I could tell. I was like, okay, this is a third person POV that because I typically prefer first, that I could read and have no problem with. And I thought that was pretty cool. So I just wanted to kind of give you that compliment, at least from me.
so much. I appreciate that. So yeah, my books, every single book has different couples. Every single book has a happily ever after. There's
Right.
not there's not book cliffhangers, but every single series has a long story arc. So you've got individual trials and challenges and bad guys, um, and a lot of body bags for every book. But you have one big major big bad evil guy that the whole story, the whole series is gearing up to get rid of.
Right.
So the first series is Volksemia Haven, because the werewolf family that I was talking about, it's the Volk family, which just means wolf in Russian, and Semya
Okay.
means family. And they're given their pack name by some Russians who joined the pack. They have kicked themselves out of packs. They've gotten rid of packs, and they just live as a family. And now that they've got grandchildren growing up who are having their own families and their own children, it really becomes a pack,
Right.
just a family pack. And then the second series, Blood Moon Haven, is still the same family. It's it doesn't continue the same story arc because you've gotten rid of the big bad evil guy, but it's the same people. So you'll see um your old favorites, your friends, the ones that you know, they're still running around in the background doing stuff as they meet new friends and new people who all find their mates and create this continuing haven.
Right. Awesome. Well, that's cool. Well, I definitely got, I know we need to wrap up because we have to get to the next author. We're supposed to only be 5 to 7 minutes. I told you it goes by fast, doesn't it? It goes by so fast. But I could tell when I was reading a little bit today that you've definitely done some world building. Like you've definitely built a world, and like what you just said in Russian, like it was, you've definitely done your homework. And I already got a sense of that with the very little bit that I've read. So that's cool. So, okay, awesome. Well, thanks for taking a second to talk to us. I'm going to bring on KD Fraser, but stick around because I think what we'll do, guys, is we'll bring everybody on at the very end, all the entire panel, right? So stick around. Thank you, Lorelei. Okay. All right, that was so awesome. I haven't done one of these like in a year, so it's just been a while. I forgot like how cool it is, and I'm going to try to do these every month for both groups. So for the big fantasy group with 45,000 members, we'll do 3 authors from there every month, and then we'll do one from the dark. And so like next week, Monday at 4 p.m. is the dark version of this, by the way, the after dark group. So just FYI. All right, let me grab KD Fraser. I'm so excited. And by the way, when she came on, so we all meet like ahead of time in the studio and talk and make sure like, that's why we were a little bit late, because making sure like, all the technical difficulties are sorted out. KD Fraser is so cute, guys. She has like blue hair. It's so cute. I was like looking at her hair and I was like, I wish I could have blue hair. I want blue hair so bad. But my day job is a software engineer, and I don't know if I could pull off blue hair in a boardroom, but I love it. It's so cute. All right, Katie, I'm going to bring you on. She's probably like, girl, what are you doing? Here we go. Look at her hair. See? It's so great. I love her hair.
It was green a while ago. It's faded out, though. I need to redo it.
I love it. Oh, someone says, I want purple hair. Oh, people are saying they love the lives. Oh, people are saying they've missed these. Oh, yay. Awesome. Okay, so it's just exciting to see all the nets. Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for being on the show. You actually look extremely technical, like, with your headset and your your background. Like you look like you're in the know. So tell us what's going on behind you.
Yeah, my husband does 3D printing. He has a whole YouTube channel. And I'll turn this a little bit. Back there is like all of his like YouTube stuff. So
oh my gosh.
It looks a mess in here. And so it's but
awesome.
it's totally
I wish I had that like geeky techie space behind me. Like I have an old antique couch and like a quilt that's like 60 years old sitting back there. And you're like, there's my books, like it's like, yeah, yours is way better than mine. Anyways, all right. Well, so I first met you in the ARC chat.
Yes.
That's because you were already in the group, but you had, and I hadn't really. No offense. It wasn't that I didn't notice you. It's just there's a lot of people in the group.
There's so many people in there that like there's no way that you could meet and interact with every single one of them.
No, you can't. And like, so we were in the community chat, the ARC chat, right, where you can go. We have them every Wednesday. We had one today. People go sign up, and somebody had complained. It happens a lot, right? They join the chat and they're upset because they get notifications.
How did I get in here?
How did I get in here? Why am I in this one? I'm in so many Facebook groups, and every single one. Do you know how many groups I've left? Like I get all those comments, And you were so sweet because someone dropped one of those comments and you beat me to it because I was about to go back like, okay, sorry that you're in the chat and you don't want to be, go change your notifications. There's not a lot I can do as an admin, yada, yada, yada. And you got on there and you're like, here's where you go, boop, 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 change your notifications. And it was so sweet. And I messaged you after it and I just said, thank you.
Yeah.
So thank you.
I feel so like people get unnecessarily snarky about it. Like it's just like you just have to leave. Like I don't
they're so mad. They're just like, why? And like, there's only so much, and people love those chats. Actually, I love them. every week I get people saying I missed the chat, or like today I
Yeah.
had 2 authors message me and say I missed the
Yeah.
chat to drop my arc, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
We have a post and the announcements, but
Yes.
I can't reopen the chat. It'd be bloody
Yeah.
murder
No.
if I did, you know.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right. Well, enough about the chat. Let's talk
Oh,
about
it's
you
fine.
and your books. So tell me what you write, what your books are, all that jazz.
So I put out my debut in October.
Right?
It's Found by Chance. It is
Yay!
a so this one's medium dark. I call it medium. It's not like dark dark, but it is like there's like kidnapping and stuff like that that goes on. So it is a medium dark fantasy why choose romance with male intimacy in it. And it is the first in a series. The second one should be coming out in June, and then I'm hoping to have the last one out in November.
Right.
Um, and so it was um, sparked by a dream that I had. Like, I just woke up and I was like, I need to write this down. And I started writing it a little less than a year ago and then published it in October. And since then, I have had 3 monster romance novellas come out. One of them is a male female sweet and spicy Krampus novella. And then I have Frosted Nightmares, which is loosely based on Jack Frost and Pitch Black aged up from Rise of the Guardians. And it's an MMF. And then I have Nocturnal Valentines, which just came out last month. And it is a non-traditional shifter romance with a badger, a fox, and a raccoon. And that and Frosted Nightmares are a little on the darker side.
Right.
And then I have one coming out the 26th called Libra Blessed, which is a interconnected world. It's myself and Sam Lucas, and
Oh,
of
Sam
course,
Lucas.
a bunch of their names are evading me right now. Rochelle Bonifay is one of them.
Right.
And so it's an interconnected world. They're all standalones. You don't have to read all of them to know what's going on. They center around one singular event. And for mine, it is a dark reverse harem with 5 male mates with male intimacy and the main female character. So
Right.
those are the books that I have out now. And then, like I said, I'm trying to get the rest of the Fatebound saga done by the end of the year. So
Wow. That's you got a lot going on.
yeah, it's a
And you said
little
you just
intense. Oh, your
when did you
sound
start?
cut out.
I did.
Okay, you're good now. You're good now.
Oh
It
my
like
gosh.
completely cut for a second. I couldn't hear you.
So you said but you just started. Like you have all
Yeah.
that stuff and you just started.
Yeah. So my goal this year was actually to write one monster novella a month. But then Libra really like weighed me down and getting it done and getting it out because a lot of people don't know this, but on Amazon, in order for you to set up a pre-order, you have to stick to that pre-order date, because if you don't stick to the pre-order date, then you get your pre-order privileges revoked. And so it's super important that you do that. And I started to panic that I wasn't going to get like Libra out in time and get because I set the pre-order up for that like in October. And
Mm.
so yeah, it was just a lot. Like it was a lot. And I still have a plan for a couple more monster novellas throughout the course of the year, but I am slowing down on them and then probably going to pick back up on them in 2025. So
Wow. Well, as you were talking, someone just commented, this is like the sweetest thing. They said, you guys are making me want to get my laptop out and keep writing.
do it.
Do
Do
it.
it.
Right?
It's so
Do
like,
it.
even if it's just for you, like it's so worth it. Like,
It's so
and
worth it.
the authors corner group is super super nice and everybody's
Oh,
very
yay.
helpful in there. And so it's
That
a
makes me
great
happy.
like a great little community of authors. So I highly recommend joining that and checking that out. So
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I've heard a lot. I've got a lot of feedback from authors that it's a very non-judgmental space,
yeah,
and that's awesome. That's
yeah,
what I wanted. So that's great.
yeah,
So the book that you just held up a second ago,
yeah.
Bound by, hold it up,
Chance. Yeah,
Bound by Chance. I
yeah.
actually
This is
started that
my
this afternoon.
it.
I like it.
It's my baby. It is
I
like
like it.
it's yeah, I like to call it accessible fantasy. It's like it takes place in a high fantasy world, but it's not so much that like people who've never read fantasy can't understand what's happening. You
Right.
may need to look up like what a manicore is if you don't know what that is, but like other than that, like it's easy to follow along with. So it's a
Yeah,
fairly
well,
easy
because
magic system and
it starts off in our modern world, right? And
yeah,
if
yes.
initially, right?
And
So
then
I
she gets
did,
whisked away. So
that's where I got to. And I actually was like, I want to keep reading, but I
yeah.
can't because I've got to read the other authors before
Yeah. 4 o'clock. Yep.
my lunch break. Like it's been a whirlwind, man. So, but yeah, I really, really enjoyed what I've read
Yeah.
so far, and I'm planning to pick it back up. So that's
Um,
some praise
book
for
2 is going to
sure.
be darker. It is going to be a good bit darker than the first one because some stuff's about to go down. I am in the process of writing that one. And it's yeah, it's just it's my baby. I like the other books that I've written, and I really like Libra. Libra is dark. There are a lot of triggers, and it is very spicy, like
That's what I was
50%.
about to ask you,
Like,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, because it's a white
So
choose. So white
yeah,
choose inherently,
yeah.
typically, there's very
Especially
few
as a
white chooses I've read
standalone,
that
like
aren't.
you have
Yeah,
to get right into it if it's a standalone. And
right, pretty quick.
because Bound by Chance is one of my reviewers described it as a painfully slow burn. So just as a heads up. Which
Oh,
it is. And even my husband, he
I
makes
like a
fun of
slow
me.
burn.
He's like, you didn't get to anything good until like 3/4 of the way through the book.
So he's read it. He's read your book.
Yeah.
Your husband. Oh, that's awesome.
We're
Yeah, I
actually
started
getting
right.
ready to
Sorry.
narrate. We're getting ready to narrate some books together, including my books. So we're
Oh,
gonna be working it because like audiobook narration is so stinking expensive.
it
Um,
is.
and we already have a lot of the equipment that we need from like his YouTube stuff. So we're getting ready to narrate. So
Well, you've already said two things I want to talk about when we have our panel going at the end after
yeah.
we talk to Chandelle. I want to talk about audiobook narration, and I want to talk about the pre-orders, and I want to
Yes.
talk about reviews and ratings
Yes.
and how important
Yes.
those are and what that
Oh my God,
means.
so important. If you guys love an
All
author,
that.
go review them.
Yeah, seriously. We'll talk about all of that when we have the
Yeah.
panel. So yeah, so like I said, I started it this afternoon and actually I really enjoyed it and I would have kept reading if I didn't have to prepare for this, which is
Yeah.
that's high
Nope.
praise. I actually, because you know, in my group I have the positivity rules and we don't really talk
Mhm.
about DNFs or negative
Yeah.
and all that. But I actually there's a lot of books I pick up that I don't continue on with because
Yeah.
there's so many I have to read. So like
Yeah.
if I don't get hooked relatively early on, it's like, okay, I'll try this on another day. Let me grab this one because there's so many authors' books that I'm always going through.
Yeah.
So,
Nope.
the
I
fact
get
that
it.
I would have kept is, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Well, I
good.
appreciate that so much.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Okay, well, thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
coming on. Is there anything
Thank you
else you
for
wanted to
doing
say
this.
real quick before I pull in Chandelle and then we'll have our panel? We can have more time to talk then too. Are you
Um,
good?
you well, just real quick, you should go pre-order Libra Blessed, and
Yes.
join my Facebook group, which is KD Fraser Readers, because I if I get up to 40 pre-orders, which is a lot, before the 26th, then I'm gonna do a little schmiveaway for
Shmivaway.
a book box for Nocturnal Valentines, which is one of my novellas that just came out. So
That's awesome. I love that
yeah.
shmivaway. They do that on Book
Well,
Talk. I hear it. The
yeah,
shmivaway.
it's because I don't know what Facebook like likes and doesn't like in their lives, and I don't know what's gonna get flagged. So
I appreciate that. There's a lot of people don't realize, and we'll talk about that too in the panel. Like a lot of
yeah,
people don't realize that posting links in Facebook doesn't do very well.
yeah,
So like a lot of times we're removing posts and saying to do it without the link, and they think we're being mean, but we're doing it so it has better post reach. You
No,
know, so more people
was
can see the
fine
post.
in post jail whenever I comment with my links sometimes, and it has to be approved by a modmin, which makes extra work for you guys. So
Yeah. Yeah. It goes to spam for us. So
yeah. Yep.
anyways, all right. Well, thank you. And we'll see you in a minute. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Okay. Bye. Oh my God, she is so cute. It's so funny because like they can see me talking and I come on here in between each one and I like act like they can't see me, but they can, but I don't care. She's so cute. Okay, we're gonna do Chandelle. Oh my God, I have to tell you guys something first about Chandelle. So when I was looking up the, different authors' books, I don't know, I know a lot of authors, but I don't know all the authors, right? I was saying that at the very beginning. That's like when I messed up her last name. I felt kind of bad about it. And sorry, my camera is like up here. It's really awkward because if I like look at my camera, you can see me, but if I look at the actual screen, it looks like I'm looking down. So sorry, I'll try to fix that for next time. But anyways, so I went to go look up because I was trying to pull the books of the three authors to read a little bit about before today. And I pulled up Chandelle and I was like, oh my God, she's got books that has like over 4,000 ratings, I think, like 4 to 5 stars. And like I had people messaging me saying, oh, Chandel's coming on. They got really excited about it. And like people were joining the group from Chandel's group saying that they're coming to the live. And I was like, who's Chandelle? Like, look at it. Oh my God, I feel so bad. So sorry. But yeah. And so we'll talk about it in a second. Let me pull her on. I was going to talk about her book. Let me get her on to talk about her book. Oh, she's laughing. I can see her now in the chat. She's laughing. There she is. Oh my God.
You're so funny.
I felt so bad. I was like, sorry, I don't know who you are. Like a lot of people do, but me, apparently. I'm the elephant in the room.
I don't know who I am half the time. So
it's so funny.
I was just like, I don't do lives very often.
Right.
I think I've done 3 in my total 6-year author like thing. I get super like anxious and nervous and I'm just like, hi people. And I'm just like, I don't, and then I panic as I'm doing now. And so yeah, and then you asked in that chat and I was like, I'll do it. Cause that was my goal this year I'm looking at the computer. I should be looking at. See, I'm just like you.
It is what it is. They'll roll with the punches like we are. So just don't worry about it. It is what it is.
But yeah, no, my goal this year was to try to do more lives and try to. I have a really loyal fan base. They're really amazing in my group. Yeah. My Chandwitches are amazing. And they always want me to go live, and I'm just such a little hermit crab introvert that I just tend to stay in my little. So my goal this year was to do it, and then you sent your message and said, I'll do it.
You do it. And you also did a giveaway in the group, the 11100 giveaway, which actually I think Lorelei and Katie did as well. But yeah. It was just so funny because I was like, I just was so surprised. I just didn't expect to see it when I was looking at the thing. And I felt really bad that I didn't know. So sorry. Is what it is.
Are you kidding me? I don't know. Like, you probably know more authors than I do. Hi, Bestie. I see Bestie in the comments. Bestie. Megan Montero is my bestie.
Oh, yeah. So, like, for all the people who are commenting, you have to say who you are, like give Restream access, or we just see Facebook user and we don't know your name. Or just write your name in the comment. But, yeah, we see, sup, Bestie, Bestie.
That's my bestie. She's here to support
and look at the little Chandelle with the hearts. So cute. That's so cute.
Did I do it right?
Yes, you did. You did it right. Okay, so let's know all about you. What do you write? What books do you have? You have tons, it looks like. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
So I'm currently working on book number 36 in total. And so I'm working on number 24 of my Coven series. That's like my main series. It's called The Coven. And I'm working on book number 24 for that, which will hopefully come out. I'm on chapter 6, so let's not get too excited. But awesome. So yeah, I also write books with my best friend Megan Montero, who's saying hi in the comments. We have a co-write series together called The Night Realm, and we just have a lot of fun. Just basically 2 best friends, just absolute anarchy in the book, and everyone seems to like it.
You told me, because I'd asked you, which one do you recommend for me to try? And I picked up that one today, the blood. Yes, that one. So
this book I'm really proud of it and really exciting about it as a series because this is actually a series of 8 different authors. So it's Forgotten Kingdom series, and it's 8 books, and they're each book's a different author.
Yeah.
And basically they're all standalone, happily ever afters. You can read in absolutely any order. Mine is technically book 1 because it came out first, but and obviously if you read them in order, you may understand some cameos a little better, but you literally don't have to. It's just a shared world. It's a portal fantasy. So it's 8 girls who their realm was in a war and they sacrificed themselves for the greater good, and they have been reincarnated. And these are the 8 girls, their journey back to their realm. So they start in Earth. The books all start in Earth, and they are taken in various methods to their kingdom, to the other realm. And it's all one realm. So it's called Terea, and it's all one realm with all the different continents and all the different species. And it's just a lot of fun and a lot of it's all fated mates. Most of them are enemies to lovers. So what does that tell you about the genre? We
Enemies to lovers. We do. We do.
Catnip,
yes, it's so good.
Catnip, gimme.
It's so good.
I think we all need therapy.
or just more books. So I started it today, and I actually really, what I really, really liked about it that I've read so far, I've gotten to, I read the sample. I read the entire sample. I downloaded the sample. So that lets you know from the front and end, right? So, I really liked that, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it because it's the very beginning of the book, so it's not a major spoiler, but that you think that you're in the real present of being in the kingdom at the very beginning. You don't know you're in a dream until later, and then you find out that she was dreaming. I love that because
fun fact, I forgot about that.
I love it. No, it's so good.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, so mine, I decided most of the books are set in the high fantasy realm. They're not on Earth. They don't come back. And so I wanted to really just kick it off with a little dose of fantasy. And if you read mine, I think it's chapter 2 or 3, you get a little glimpse at all the future heroines of the whole series. I did like a little cameo.
Right.
And we've got some really amazing authors. Mine's about vampires.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Well, I guess I could have maybe guessed that from blood being in the title. Just a guess. Maybe. I don't know, but not necessarily, I suppose. Well, I just liked it because there's a lot of romance fantasies that kind of start off like where the FMC, or it's like you said, like the portal, right? Where we start off in the modern world, then we go to the fantasy world, and like it starts off with the dream, but it's a dream because it's like italics, and it's either the past or a dream, and there's something weird going on, and then we spit out into like the modern world, and just that's a formula that happens all of the time. So it was like really refreshing because you caught me off guard because I was reading it from the beginning and I was like, I thought I was in the fantasy world. Like, okay, this is a romance fantasy. There was a map at the beginning of the book, which is always an indicator to me that it's probably a romantasy, and then I started reading it, and then it's like, oh wait, we're in, it's a casino, like Vegas or something, right? At the very beginning, if I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. And I was like, oh, cool. And I love modern things, books set in modern world, and I like going to the fantasy world. So I was like, this was great. I just really liked it. It was fun. So yeah.
I see a comment here that says, are they all about different types of creatures? The answer is yes. So each of us picked a different creature. Mine's vampires. Awesome. G.K. DeRosa, she writes dragons. Megan Montero, the bestie, wrote demons. Those are really cool. Elemental demons. Pretty cool. We have elves, fae, mages, wolves, of course. Save the fan favorite for last. So we've got a little bit of everything, and each author picked a different species.
That's awesome. So you're okay. So this is for the shared world, obviously. But your main series that you're most known for is the Coven series. Is that what you were saying? That you've written like?
Yep, it's called so I'm on book 24 of that. It's the 4th season. So the way I approach the Coven saga, it's kind of like a TV series where there's different seasons. So like my first season, it starts with this one.
The Lost Witch.
The Lost Witch. That is 6 books. In that season is all inclusive. Like you can finish there, you get your happily ever after. Like you think you can stop there if you want to. Then the second season is Academy Magic, so it's set in a magical academy because we also love that trope, don't we?
We do.
But basically, so each season's different, right? Has a different feature. The third season is about fae, and the fourth season is about vampires. That's the one I'm on. This is the one that just came out in September.
Beautiful cover.
Called The Blood Witch.
Beautiful cover.
Thank you. It's one of my favorite covers. But the nice thing is the coven itself is based on tarot cards. So each member of the coven represents one of the major arcana tarot cards. So
credit cards. That's cute.
Credit cards. But yeah, so each one is a different tarot card. You know, like the first girl, she's the high priestess, and then there's the emperors, and it's, you know, soulmates, fated mates. There's a little bit of every trope that you could possibly imagine, but the characters like carry over. I believe KD was saying, or was it Lorelei was saying hers do that too. You know, the characters become side characters in the next book. So like my second season, the Academy one, the heroine is the best friend of the first heroine who comes into the fold. So like they connect. So you're gonna see, and overall, it's gonna be about a 45 book saga.
Wow.
So how do you
keep it all straight with that big of a saga?
I'm not sure I do.
You must have a great alpha and beta team to help you out, I would imagine, with the help with inconsistencies and making sure everything.
It's mostly I'm severely OCD, and so it's mostly like too many chefs in the kitchen. But my best friend Megan Montero, she is my codependency. Like, it's probably unhealthy to a therapist, but she's my main beta. So we talk through everything together, and I have a couple of really solid beta readers that are like, you know, the proper beta readers, but they're good friends of mine, so they do really good.
So what made you start writing, and how long have you been writing?
Well, I don't have quite as near exciting origin story as Lorelei with her foot.
Poor thing.
I was cringing. Honestly, I had lost my love of reading because I'm severely dyslexic and all this stuff, and I was in art school, and then I was living in Connecticut. I'm a South Floridian, let me just tell you. So I was in Connecticut.
Where are you now?
I'm in Palm Beach County.
I'm in Merritt Island.
No way.
So I'm by KD Space Center. Yeah, I used to work on the Space Shuttle program.
Yeah. We're practically neighbors. I drove through there with Megan actually a couple months ago. That's crazy.
Okay, sorry.
So,
so excited there for a second.
So I know Floridian problems. Okay, so you're South Florida. You're Floridian. I get it. You get it. Like you. So I'm living in Connecticut for the first time, and this was in 2010, and I was freezing, and it was so much snow outside, and my cousin got me into reading Twilight, and that's such a great intro series, and it really is, and nothing but love for Twilight, and that got me back into reading. And then she was like, I'm gonna write a book, and I was like, how do you do that? And so we started writing a book together, and that book has never seen the light of day. I hope to repurpose it one day, but that was I joined, there was an organization back in the day. I'm not sure it's quite so running anymore, but I went there, and in 2013, that's where I met Megan, and it was called RWA, and we just started like pitching our books. So I've been writing since about 2010. I've been trying to publish since 2013, and I finally started self-publishing in 2017.
KU, Kindle Unlimited, right? Kindle Unlimited,
what's that?
Right?
Yeah, KU. Yeah, gotta love KU.
It's great for readers, you know, and it's really becoming the thing, really. Like for the group, you know, the 45,000 group, we do get a lot of recs that are traditional published, you know, like you get the Ilona Andrews or, you know, Fourth Wing, whatever, but ACOTAR, you know, but a lot of the recs are KU recs. And I've heard,
you know,
go ahead.
Indie's where it's at. Indie's where it should be, because indie authors have full control of what we do, and we can give the readers what they want. And I'm constantly asking my group, so if there's a book you want, come join my group and tell me about it. Like tell me what you'd like to see, and we can give it to you.
And you don't have the publishers influencing the plot line or any of that. It's what you want to write.
It's all
And you get to pick the cover too. Yeah. It's your cover, right?
Yes, I do.
People don't realize that.
And I'm a cover hoarder.
Yeah. And you get to set your prices. It's not like, certain books out there that have an ebook for $14.99. I'm not going to say what it is. It's like, that's a lot for an ebook,
Amazon gets a little, they try to push their hand a little bit, and with like minimum prices they throw at us. Like, this is the cheapest. Like, they started their hardcovers, and they minimum I'm allowed to price it is $55. And I'm like, you're crazy. But
yeah. Okay, so do you have any news you want to give, the scoop on anything in conclusion before we pull everybody back on here for a panel? Anything coming out, new release? Anything you're working on?
I'm working on there's a book called Final Fae. It's the book 3 of the Night Realm Fae book I'm writing with Megan Montero. We're working on that, and I'm working on the book 2 to this, which is called The Potion Witch. So come join my group, and we have a really wild good time.
And are you on TikTok and Insta too?
I'm on Instagram. Please come follow me on Instagram. Okay. I'm an elder millennial who doesn't know how to make TikToks. I'm working on it. It's also on my agenda.
For this year. It's on the agenda for the year, right? Yeah. TikTok really, it's so much better for getting views than Instagram, I've found, but they're both good places.
I do have a TikTok, Chandelle LaVaun. If you go on there, you're going to see TikToks of a girl that's not me. It's someone I hired to make them, but it is my account.
Like, is she on there pretending to be you, or she's just doing...
It's like people like these TikToks where it's someone like, lip syncing to something, and then there's like and it's another person. I hired a company, and it's another girl, and then I get a lot of people like, that's not you. She's trying to be you. And I'm like, it's approved. I hired her.
Well, there you go.
So I appreciate them looking out.
I like the honesty there too. Like, just like, hey, I have a TikTok. I hired someone. She's singing the songs, and follow me.
We're working on it.
That's great. All right, cool. So let me pull everybody back in. Hold on 1 second. And Hi, everybody. Hi. Okay, so just a couple things I want to talk about real quick on here that I'd heard throughout, as we were all talking. So, like, obviously, Katie, you had mentioned the pre-orders, and so I didn't know about that. So you're saying that if a pre-order, because what's happened is readers are watching this and they don't understand the side from authors. So this is a really good vehicle to get the information out, right?
I've had a lot of people complain about my Fatebound saga because I only have the first book out so far. It ends on a horrific cliffhanger, and people are big mad about it because I don't have a pre-order listed for it, because it's such a huge world that I wasn't convinced that I could get it done by the time I had my pre-order listed. So I've been telling people, like, the next one is planned for June. There's a possibility it might have to get pushed back just a little bit. And I don't have it up for a pre-order because I am so scared of missing that pre-order deadline.
How do they penalize you? Sorry, go ahead.
Okay,
so you can't sell pre-orders.
You can push it back one time within a 30-day window. That's all the more leniency that you get. And then if you miss that deadline, then you are no longer allowed to upload pre-orders. You have to wait and be like, I'm ready to upload this book right this second. And there's no early pre-orders. And it really screws a lot of people up because there is you have to put it up 4 days beforehand. It has to be up by 7 or 8 p.m. GMT. It's not our time. Or 7 or 8 p.m. our time. It's 12 a.m. GMT. And so they're like, upload it by midnight on this day, but it's like the wrong time zone. And I have seen so many people get super screwed over by it because they don't realize there's that 4-day, like you have to upload it 4 days in advance. And there was one girl that I saw on TikTok who she had like 400 pre-orders for her book, and because she missed that 4 day before deadline, they got rid of all of her pre-orders, and so she didn't get any of those. So
Okay, so Chandelle. Sorry, I said called you Chandelle. Is it Chandelle or Chandelle?
Technically, it's a French name. Chandelle is correct. So I answer to both because I speak just a little bit of French. So they're both correct in
Okay,
my mind.
awesome. Because I have a cousin named Chantel, and it's Chantal. So we say Sean instead of Shan. Okay, anyways, so
Yeah.
you're gonna say something about pre-orders. I heard it, like I saw it a little bit earlier, but also like, why are pre-orders even
Yeah.
important?
So
For readers,
question,
because
but
I know obviously, but why for everyone watching? Because people may not know why pre-orders are so important to indie authors and traditional authors, right?
So the nice thing about pre-orders from the reader's perspective is that they won't forget about that series. Now, I'm fortunate enough that I'm on book 24 and my fans are well aware that these are coming, right? But for newer authors, and when I was a newer author, it was critical to have at the end of my book, click here to pre-order the next one, because that way the reader can just click it, download it, it's there, it's locked and loaded, and on release day, it's going to arrive in their Kindle. And they don't, I've had so many people who are like, oh, I forgot about that series and then it showed up in my Kindle today. And that's why it's so important for authors, especially the authors who are newer. You know, it really can make a career. It can really bring in your fans, because exposure is the hardest part of this industry. So you have to be able to have that link in there. It's game changing. And then that's how you build more loyal fans and the people who will join your ARC teams, the people who will post reviews. So pre-orders are huge. Not to mention, it's guaranteed money for the author on release day. So it's, instead of getting, waiting for sales, you're going to get, all 40 or 400 or 4,000 pre-orders. You're going to get paid that, it's going to hit, there's a delay when you get payout, but for people who maybe who authoring isn't their full-time job, like Rebecca, you have another job and you're doing this amazing, group. If you were an author, like knowing that, okay, I'm going to make money, all of my months of hard work of writing this book, there's people who have bought it. And so it's huge. I always set up my pre-orders 1 year in advance. I stretch it as far as KDP will allow me to, like Amazon. I push it, and I click the last day. And I have had to push a month after that because, I had COVID 3 times in 1 year. So like it
3 times,
it happens, it happens, potentially 4. So
Jesus.
I've started testing negative, even though I lost my taste and smell for 3 months, but whatever. Life happens. And, it's hard because people get mad at Amazon, and I get it. It sucks, but like, they're looking out for the reader. As an author, it sucks, but they're looking out for the reader. If I pre-order books, and that's my money because, I'm paying that when I order.
Yeah.
If the author cancels it, it's bad customer service. But ever since COVID, I just want to throw out, ever since COVID, the world shut down, Amazon has been a lot more lenient. So if you just get them on the phone and you're like, hey, I've already pushed it my 30 days. Like, I'm not going to make it. Can you give me another extension? Most of the time, you have a good chance that they will. It's not guaranteed. Don't Don't get me in trouble. But, it's like, I get it, but also.
Yeah. I was an author who called and gave, like, they were like, yeah, like, I had all this crap going in my life and I missed my deadline, and Amazon did reinstate her privileges. They were like, this is a one-time courtesy, don't do it again.
it's better if you call
Yeah.
before you miss it.
Yeah.
You know, like if you've got 20 minutes, because what a lot of people don't know is there's a timer on our screen in our little where we go to upload our book. It's a literal timer, so we can see like counting down to the second.
No, I didn't know that. That's cool.
No, and it's like, you know, like
I was gonna say it's cool, but it's probably makes you like,
I've gotten down to like 2 minutes. So like if you've got minutes on there, call before your minutes are up, you know, because it's easier for them to reinstate and before it goes out.
So just as a summary, what I'm hearing is pre-orders are important for indie authors because it reminds people to go pick up that next book, so they'll continue the series, right? And then also it helps getting cash in the pocket, right? Because this is your livelihood. So like you'll get paid on the, but then for traditional authors, it shows, and I guess also for indie too, it gives a sense of how popular the series is, right?
Yeah.
So like, and so they'll write that next book, right? Because people have been pre-ordering it.
It is motivation. It is motivation, you know, to be like, okay, the people liked it, they're pre-ordering. But you know, once your pre-order's there, you're kind of stuck anyways.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, and then Katie, we said something else on yours. I'm drawing a blank. What was the second thing we were going to talk about in the panel?
We talked about reviews.
Audiobooks.
Audiobooks, yes, audiobooks. How crazy expensive, because people complain all the time that they're not audiobooks out there.
Yeah.
Like, they're not, you know.
The going rate for a single audiobook narrator, so just a solo one person reads the whole thing start to finish, ranges anywhere from $50 per finished hour to $500 per finished hour. So if your audiobook ends up being, you know, 10 hours, you're paying $5,000 for an audiobook narration for a single person. The Bordeaux's, who narrated Zodiac Academy, Bridget and Jake, their going rate for a solo narrator is $325 per hour, and then for a duet, both Jake and so there's solo, dual, and duet, and the dual is it switches off every chapter, and then the duet is they switch off their lines of dialogue. And their going rate for a duet is $425 per hour, per finished hour. So like it is exceptionally expensive for people.
So is that all that they earn, or do they get royalty on top of that?
It depends on the narrator. It really does.
It depends on the arrangement that the author sets up. So if you go in and you say, I'm going to pay for it all, I'm going to pay up front, then the narrator gets paid just the one time. There's another contract where you can give them some royalty share. Most authors don't do that.
All right. So similarly, let's talk about cover photos, because people don't realize how expensive cover photos are, right? Like in the indie author world, people will complain about a cover. We have people drop posts in the group where they're making fun of cover photos, and we delete those posts immediately because it's like, it's totally not cool, right? Like it's very hard. I mean, a lot of authors do their own cover photos actually, right? In
like
the indie
for
world,
Canva or those kinds of things.
Canva, right?
So these are not my covers. These are other people's as well. So this is Toxic Intrigue by MC Smothers. She did this, I'm pretty sure, on Canva because I've seen this same picture a few times. But it's a really pretty cover. And then this is J.A. Keaton's Spellbroken King, which she has a fully drawn, like digital artist went in and did this. It's gorgeous. I do not want to know how much she paid for this because that is insanely expensive. And then there's mine, which again done by a graphic artist, and I got mine on clearance for $35. So
oh wow, that's really good. Oh my gosh.
But normally it's $150 for his custom ones,
and that's pretty cheap. So I have this cover made by a designer named KD Ritchie, and she hand draws it, and this is 4 figures. This cover is 4 figures.
And I didn't mean to ask you guys specifically what you've spent on covers. I wasn't trying to go there. Just to give people an idea, though. It's not
happy to talk about it.
Listen, I'm an open book. I like to be, fully transparent. Like, this is beautiful and I love it, but it cost me $1,000, per cover. And then these covers cost me about $500 from that designer, and like contemporary can be a little bit more affordable because you start adding all the magical elements, and it's a lot more intense, and they get
Well, and
Yeah,
mine
the
ended up
fantasy.
being for the full wrap, because that's, I mean, it could have just had a black, like I could have done the wrap myself and just had a black back. But it was it was only $45 more to get the full wrap. So yeah, it really depends on who you use. And I love my cover guy. He's super sweet. So
Well, that's awesome. We're seeing some
yeah.
of the comments here. People are surprised that they cost so much.
I
I
mean,
knew
and
it. That's why I wanted to bring it
deserve
up, because they do.
like
They cost a
they
lot.
deserve it. The cover is the first thing that people see. It's what draws people in, and on
Yep.
top of that, like they're putting so much time and effort into it, not to mention paying, like if they're using Adobe InDesign, that's $30 a month out of their pocket that they have to pay for that, not including their stock images that they have to pay for, which get really expensive. It's $30 a month for Adobe's stock image thing, and you only get 10 photos. Jesus Christ. 10
I
photos a
think
month.
with the
You okay?
Yeah, no, one of my kids banged on the HVAC system, and it like scared me out of my skin.
Everything's okay. We're
Everything's
okay. Okay. Sorry, Chandelle, what were you saying?
I was just gonna say that with AI coming into the industry
AI.
being a problem with covers,
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to find stock photos that
Yeah.
aren't AI, and then
It's
if you
insane.
have the audacity to accidentally use AI, you get just blasted for it on the internet, even for like random pictures. So like I could see the cost of covers going up. You know, the people who are hand drawing everything, you know, that's going to be like, for me, that's who I'm only going to use designers now who hand draw stuff. So I know
Yeah.
there's no AI,
yeah.
and I'm not ripping anyone off, you know, but covers and audio, I mean, it's all part of the industry and it's all expensive, but you know, they have families to feed too.
Yeah,
And
it
it's
is.
hard.
And they absolutely deserve the payments, absolutely 100%.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But it just, like, a lot of people, like you said, like they'll make fun of book covers, or they'll be like, why isn't there audio for this yet? Which a lot of people don't know. There is an accessibility option on KU on Kindle where you can have it read aloud to you. It's
Yes.
not like a super beautiful voice or anything, but if you don't have the money to spend on audiobooks, or your favorite book is not on audiobook yet, then you can do the accessibility option and have it read aloud to you.
Your iPhone too. Your iPhone
Yeah.
will do it. I did it the other day while I was driving. Well, before I was driving. But I said it and it just started talking as I was, because I didn't have an audiobook for it out, you know.
There's another tool on there that I'd like to point out because I didn't know it existed. I wrote a book with a main character. She's from Spain, and so she speaks a lot of Spanish in the book because, you know, I want representation. Just because I'm white, not everyone is. And a lot of people got really mad at me because I didn't translate the Spanish parts into. I mean, I did, but you only know that if you speak Spanish. But there's a tool in Kindle where you can like highlight the word and click translate, and it'll tell you. And like, I didn't even know that tool like was a thing. So like I've put that in my like disclaimers, and now like, so like readers, if you see something in a foreign language in your Kindle, just tap it, hit translate. But what you don't want to do, please don't report errors through,
because Amazon will take our stuff down if there are too many error reports on.
So what? Yeah, so these errors get reported, and then it would be great for us because it lets us know where there are errors that were missed. But then if you don't fix them in a timely manner and you don't know how long you have, Amazon can and will take everything down without warning.
I've heard of them taking it down. I didn't realize it was actually from reporting from within the book through the Kindle app.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, because authors will get the notification in our like little dashboard, and we have to go in and fix it, and it's not like the quickest process to fix it. And if you go on vacation and don't take your computer for a week, you might come home to your whole account down.
You can, and that's a lot of authors like appreciate. I know I do. If readers reach out to me and they're like, "Hey, you have X, Y, and Z errors in your book," especially with like my arcs, because they're usually going through a final proofread when I send them out. And when people are, and like they'll send me a message. There are these errors in here. I'm like, oh my god, thank you so much, because like I catch most of them, but there's a few that I don't. So
Yeah.
It's impossible to catch every typo. It's
Yeah,
impossible.
yeah. No, I get that. And what about there was the Black and Blade, Isla Devon. Have you heard of that? It was been on the bestseller list. She's a new author, paranormal romance. It's a Why Choose. Right after her book's done very well. Like it's her first book, and it's like already, I think, over 7,000 ratings, like all 5 stars. Like she's done really well. But her account was taken down very quickly after her book started skyrocketing, and it was the piracy. So, and I think that's so incredibly unfair. Like someone stole her book, put it on a piracy site, right? You guys have to deal with this, right? And then Amazon says, "Oh, you're breaking, our contract with KU," and they take your site, your account down. Terrible.
Yeah, that is very terrifying, because they, people, we have no control if they're stealing our books. So they steal them and we don't know. They're on 800 sites. Next thing you know, we're getting taken down. But there are organizations like the Authors Guild and stuff that you can join as an author for backup.
Yeah.
People to help you.
There's one pirating site that I cannot. I have sent several DMCA notices to them, and they just are not taking it down.
Explain what
I actually hired out a guy, like a company, who all his job is to go out and just take my books down from other sites.
So
yeah, message me, Katie. I'll let you know his name.
It's worth it, So explain what DCMA is, because a lot of readers don't understand what that means. Readers don't understand how harmful it is, these piracy sites. They don't really understand how harmful it is to an author. They don't really think of it as stealing.
Yeah.
But it is stealing.
Yeah.
Right? It's stealing.
And that's like, I've actually seen people in groups say, like, well, I don't have access to these books and I deserve to be able to read too. And like, I get wanting to be able to read, but you are making it to a point, like, if you like that author and you're stealing it and you're putting it on a piracy site, like, what is there? I have seen authors straight up quit because they keep getting notices from Amazon. And so the DCMA is what we can send. It's like a copyright infringement thing. I can't remember what the acronym stands for. And we can email them and be like, hey, this is in violation of my copyright, which the second you put words on paper in the United States, that copyright is yours. That is your intellectual property. People are not allowed to use it for anything else. And so people will end up like trying to email, hey, like, you need to take this down, and they just won't come down. A lot of times Amazon will give you a little bit of leniency if you can prove that you've been trying to get them removed and that like you weren't the one that put them up there, but it's so scary. Like,
well, it's really unfair too, because from what I've heard from I was talking with I'm not gonna say her name, but a best-selling author on chat about this, and she was telling me that the way that it works when you download the ebook to your reader, or the different options you get through Amazon, it allows you to do it in a PDF.
Yeah.
I never get it in a PDF, because why would I? I get it through my Kindle. But because it allows you to do it in a PDF, that's when people get the PDF to be able to upload it to the piracy sites. So it's actually an issue with Amazon, because they're allowing people to download the book, and then now the person has it to go upload. So it's really like, it's impossible, really, until that's fixed. I don't know how we do. I don't know how to go about fixing it, but other than just raising awareness. So yeah, I don't know. It's terrible. Sorry, you guys.
No, it is what it is. Like,
oh, I was reading comments. Sorry.
Oh, I'm looking at the comments too now. Okay, all right. So just to wrap up here before we close, let's talk about ratings and reviews and why they're so important, and also Amazon ratings too. Like, right, like if anything's less than 3 stars, it actually is really, really harmful, right? Yeah. To a book on Amazon.
Even
so. A lot
Chandelle?
of people,
sorry.
A lot of people think that if a book only has 5-star reviews, that those reviews are all paid for, like those aren't legit, and so they'll be like, I'm gonna help her or him by giving it 4 or 3 stars because it's a great book, or like, and then writing a glowing review, and that actually hurts us. you know, the more reviews we have, the more like the better our overall like average rating is, the more Amazon will like push our books, like the more the algorithm will work for us and will help our exposure. So if you love a book, I mean, unless you like really hated it, like, you know, something was really wrong with it. I'm not saying don't like review genuinely. I'm just saying like, think about like, do you love this author? Did you really enjoy this book? Like if you really enjoyed the book and you would recommend it to someone else, please don't do less than 4 stars, because it really just hurts us, and it could make or break an
Don't
author's
take
career,
stars off
especially a
for
newer
silly
author.
things too. Like like I generally speaking, after my ARC reviews come in, I try not to look at my reviews. Because
No,
I
never.
do believe that those are for readers. They are not for me. I do like to know if there's a consistent criticism about my books so that I can fix it in future books. But overall, I try not to look at them because it's bad for my self-esteem. But I have had with my novellas, I have had so many people like in the reviews be like, I loved this book so much. The only thing is I wish it were longer. And then they give me 3 stars. And I'm like, please stop doing this. Like, please.
The problem,
That's
yeah,
what I'm
the
talking
problem is that people see, like the regular reader sees 1 to 5 stars and thinks 3 stars is average, right? So they're like, okay, this was a good book. I'll give it 3 stars. I mean, it didn't blow me away, you know, but it was good. I liked it. And they don't realize that the 3 stars is actually harmful in the Amazon world, right? Anything under 4 stars is harmful.
Now, I will say that if a book
I've had
has
some
nothing but 4 and 5 stars, that's super sus. So, like, I think that it is important that people review super honestly, and like I even appreciate my 1-star reviews because some of those are because people just like I had somebody give me 3 stars on Libra because it is so smutty that like they legitimately like they were like this, and they DNF'd and they still gave me 3 stars. They were like, it was well written, but I hated this book. Basically.
I just want to echo this comment. I can't see who made it over here. Goodreads is for straight up reviews, but Amazon and Audible, I'll either give it a 4 or 5 stars or nothing at all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I do the same thing.
I don't touch Goodreads. I will not. That is a toxic thing for my author brain. I will not go on it. If you want to go and you give legitimate ratings there and like whatever, but unless a book has something like that you really hated or didn't hate a trigger, you know what I mean? Like significant things. I had people dock me a star because I had a character speak in Spanish and they were like, loved this book. Absolutely love this book. Love this series. They're a loyal fan because I can see their name and they're in my group. They give me 3 stars, 4 stars because I had the audacity to write some Spanish.
Yeah, that's shocking.
You know, I had someone dock half a star because I fake killed a character for 1 chapter.
People be crazy, really. You know, like it's just there's some like, you know, it's just kind of like, huh, you know, yeah. And I also don't like it when people review the trope, like they give you bad stars because you wrote a bully romance and they don't like bullying. And it's
So why
like,
did you read it?
well, it's a bully romance.
Why did
So
you read
just
it?
don't read it. It's not your jam, you know. It's like,
Or people who
so
are like, I like to go in blind, but they have like legitimate triggers, and then they're like, this book had this terrible thing in it. I'm like, for the love of God, I put it in the
read the
trigger
trigger
warning.
warning. Like, don't
And
check it.
that's really important too. A lot of times Amazon will start your books on chapter 1 because they don't want to give you the page reads for the preface and the dedication and those things. So, which is already, it's ridiculous. We get paid less than half
I put it all in the back.
Half a cent a page, yeah.
Per page read on KU. And so they're like, but we're not going to give you these extra. But scroll back 2 pages and you'll very frequently find the trigger warning list. Some people don't put them on there because Amazon also is like, oh, this has a trigger warning list. We're going to take it down. So some people have it on their website.
You can actually change it though.
So
I've heard that as an author, when you upload your book, you can set the page where it starts. Did you know that? That's what I've heard.
Yeah, I call bull.
Really?
Amazon will do what it wants. I don't know where this feature supposedly is.
I will message the author and I'll tell you what they say. I'll find out.
I mean, Amazon's going to do whatever it wants. You know what I mean? And the Kindles, whatever. I've heard that. I haven't seen it actually happen.
Okay.
But I will say to avoid that, I put my trigger warnings on the top of my chapter. So like if I get to a chapter where something might have something triggering in it, I literally under the chapter will say trigger warning. This is and then I say like go get a snack or something, and then like on the next chapter I give a little recap, be like, hey, this is what you missed if you skipped this chapter.
Right.
And that allows so that because they may forget those trigger warnings in the beginning of the book. So if you put them at the start of the chapter, I've had a lot of fans really love them.
You're never going to please everybody too, and that's the thing
No,
too,
of course not.
but like I've had people like ream me out for putting trigger warnings in my book at all, and they're like, don't put it in there, like all these snowflakes, they just blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I'm not going to be responsible for sending somebody into a mental health crisis, thank you very much. And I have seen people like, well, you should put it at the back of the book, and like I've seen authors put it at the top of the chapter, and I think that's terrible, and like all this stuff, and I'm just like, can you just like chill?
Yeah.
So basically, in summary, being an author is really hard. And
I also love it. Like
the things that we go through, and it's worth it. And I'm full-time author for 6 years now, and I'm very grateful for that. But a lot of readers don't understand just what it takes to go to be an author and to write these books and to write. I mean, my last book was 140,000 words, and they read it in 3 hours and were demanding the next book that day. It's really intense. So it's good for readers just to remember that we are human and our fragile emotions are just as fragile as theirs. Right. And just be nice. The world is a horrible, dark place, especially since COVID. So just be nice.
That's something. So one of the commenters said, if we manually go back to the cover and read, will they give you credit? And also, what if we reread a book? We do not get credit if you reread a book. Period. End of story.
This is the first time the page is read
for the first time, and which I think is silly, because why does it matter if they're reading my book or if they were reading somebody else's book? Just give page reads. You know what I mean? It doesn't. I don't understand that. But the other thing about it too is that there are some people who they'll be like, oh, well, I was going to DNF this book because it just wasn't for me, so I'm going to scroll through the pages really fast. Amazon will flag you for that because they think that you are faking page reads.
Yeah, you're
which I mean, technically somebody is faking page reads, but just don't scroll through the pages super fast just to give the page reads, because Amazon will get mad.
But that's also the reason why they only pay us for the first time, is to try to prevent
tampering the
cheaters
system
and the scammers of the world, right? So I get why they do that, but it just kind of sucks. So readers, if you read a book on KU and you love it, please buy it. Just please buy the ebook, because that is the only way that we will get paid more than once. If not, thank you for reading it, and read it as many times as you want in KU, and we still love you for it.
And the reviews and the ratings, right? That's a huge thing. Reviews and ratings. So, and also I'm going to add on to that. Doing posts in Facebook groups is super helpful. If you love a book, people don't realize the impact of dropping a post in a Facebook group about how much you love a book is. I get authors send me messages all the time with pictures of their sales. Yeah. And there's a spike on the day that I dropped a post about their book. Yeah. Or that someone in my group dropped a post about their book. It really makes a difference.
It does.
So
if you love a book, readers, if you love a book, post it everywhere. Post it anywhere you can. You don't even have to tag us if you're feeling insecure and weird about it. We don't care. We don't need the credit that you're sharing it. Just please share, because exposure is the hardest thing to come by. And if you love a book, go follow that author. Go and see if they have social media and tell them you loved it, because you can be having a really hard day trying to write a scene, killing a monster or something. And that comment will come through and you're like,
oh
Yeah.
my gosh, yeah.
you know,
And that's
Yeah.
too, I personally put graphics in my Facebook group where I'm like, hey, you know, if you loved this book, here's a graphic with like the tropes on it. If like anybody ever asks for something that this fits, like please share it. And because
Yeah.
like I know me personally, whenever I'm reading, I go 1000% off of reader recommendations or self-recs that I see in Facebook groups. And I go in blind. I don't read the blurb. I don't like if I'm like I want a reverse harem with and academy setting and enemies to lovers, and people are like, here's this list of ones that like, you know, I think will fit what you're looking for. I won't look at the blurb because I don't like spoilers. So and I don't look at the trigger warnings.
Oh, please don't put spoilers in your reviews.
Unless it's on Goodreads, because you can hide it on Goodreads.
Yeah.
On Goodreads. Okay, on Amazon. Listen. I think readers don't understand is Goodreads is the place for readers. Amazon is the place for authors. That they control our whole career. So like that's why I'm saying please be nice to us and give us 4 and 5 stars, because it can ruin our career. They will shut us down. They won't share us. That's the only reason like that I say that. If you're going to write a review on Amazon, please do, but no spoilers. No spoilers, because people don't want that. You know, they'll go read a review to look for legitimate things that they need to check for, like trigger warnings or happily ever afters and such, and they get to read the whole book.
I always put at the top of my reviews that I don't have spoilers, and it's actually really hard because I do the emoji reviews, and it's actually really hard to do an emoji review and not give a spoiler. So I end up like just hyping it up, and I talk like I paraphrase, but I don't actually say like I'll say, and the story kicks off with, and I'll give like how the story kicks off, but then that's it. That's all I'll talk about, and then I'll just say how amazing this theme is, or that's got MM in it, or if it's a white choose or whatever. I'm very, very careful with that because I don't like spoilers either. I actually go in blind all the time now. I barely ever read. I don't have any triggers either, so it's not a big deal. I just flip the trigger page and just start reading.
I have anxiety. I like spoilers because I'm crazy, but that doesn't mean I want to like read the entire book. You know what I mean? I want to comment to this. What about just star ratings with no written review? Yes, please. You do not. So I'm not allowed. Amazon will not let me leave a review. Even when I go on my real Amazon, like not my author name account, it will not let me leave a review. So please, I can star it. Please, Starbucks. Like, because if someone leaves us a 1 star, or, all those crappy people in the world who like just knock your book down just because I don't like white shoes, but I read this anyways. If you give us 4 or 5 stars, it bumps our rating. It's math. I hate math. But that's math.
If you click most helpful on the 5-star reviews, that's good too, right?
And if you see a review that's horrible, it's mean, it's a spoiler, not helpful. Not helpful.
No, not helpful.
It'll bump it to the bottom.
Oh my God.
As authors, I can't touch it. I literally can't do anything about it. I cannot engage with reviews, nothing. So if you're a reader and you see someone's tearing an author apart in the reviews unfairly, I'm just saying, you
a big fat thumbs down.
You can reply. I can't.
I had somebody DNF my book because I used the word cisgendered in the first chapter. And I was like, oh, okay. I was just like, I was baffled. I was like, okay, I don't want you reading this anyway.
Yeah, people have their quirks, for sure.
But like reviews, if you don't want to write you don't need to write a lengthy review. All you have to say is 4 or 5 stars, whatever. I loved this book.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you need.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
You don't need to write huge paragraphs. Just a sentence or 2 is good enough. This book was great. Loved it. Great read on a Sunday afternoon, whatever, So.
And then
tell your friends and post about it everywhere. So, okay, awesome. So what we're going to do is we're just going to conclude, we're going to go around, and if you'll tell everyone how they can find you, what socials you're on, your Facebook group, all that jazz. So that way they can find you and start following you. So.
Okay,
Sure.
I guess I'll start. If you want to find me on Facebook, I have a page you can follow, Chandelle LaVaun. It's usually a picture of me holding my most recent book that came out. I also have a Facebook group. It's called, when you just type in my name, it's a unique name, but it's called Chandwitches, like sandwiches, but Chandwitches.
That's cute.
They named themselves that. So join my group. It's a really fun group, and they're wild in there. And then I also have an Instagram. Everything is Chandelle LaVaun. You search it. I think I have a BookBub apparent, but I don't know. I'm everywhere. I'm everywhere on Instagram, TikTok. Go find me. And let me know if you find me somewhere else, because I may not know.
Oh, and if you see books that are pirated somewhere, let the author know too as well, so they can go, take care of that. So, all right, Lorelei, how about you?
Yeah, well, I'm on Facebook. Yes, that's my youngest. He's been coming around and peeking at me from both sides this entire time. Like, go away! No, he's lurking.
Oh.
So, I'm on Facebook, Lorelei Libretto. That is my author account, and I post blurbs from books all the time. So you follow that, and you can get ideas of what kinds of things I write. I have my I have Lorelei Libretto's World of Shifter Haven. That's kind of like the readers group. That's the one where I will post pictures of what I think different characters look like, or memes that make me think of shifters, things like that. And then Lorelei Libretto's Shifter Haven is more my official account. I'm on TikTok, Lorelei Libretto, Instagram, Lorelei Libretto author, but honestly, I almost never post anything on TikTok, and I don't know that I've ever posted anything on Instagram ever, because
you'll get to it.
It's just one more thing. I'm not a marketer.
Marketing is hard, man.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard.
I'd rather be writing.
Yeah, it's exhausting. It really is, but
yeah. Okay, how about you, Katie?
Okay, so first of all, I just want to mention you should follow your favorite authors on Amazon, because you'll get notifications whenever they post new books, whenever their new books become available. So that's one thing. I am on TikTok and Instagram under author KD Fraser. I do not use Instagram hardly at all. I am not good at it. I use TikTok fairly regularly, and that's where I am typically my most authentic self. I do live TikToks on Friday nights where indie authors come on and tell us a little bit about their stuff. This week is actually Arson Quinn. They're under DI Quinn in the group. So they're going to be coming on and talking about their writing journey. And then I have my Facebook group, which is KD Fraser Readers, which I post all of my ARC opportunities, I'm in the process of making book boxes. Speaking of like 3D printing stuff, these are going in my book boxes because I got a little wolf shifter. I have like different ones for each of my guys. And so I post about that stuff in there. And like, that's where I post the newest, like, here's my newest, book cover and like all of that stuff. And then I have a Patreon where I post bonus chapters for my people. And as far as Discord, I don't have a Discord for my readers. Somebody asked about that. I do have one for newbie authors, but I run two of them, and I do have one for my street team too.
I am outside.
Oh my god, it is like once you get used to it, it's okay, but it is intense. Like,
nope. Nope. You can't teach old dogs new tricks.
Just
Love
not
it.
for me.
Can't.
Aw.
I can't.
Well, that's
I love-
awesome.
Love it. I love Discord, but I get overwhelmed by all the moderation stuff. I don't know how you do it, Rebecca. I
Girl.
have 150 people in my
Girl.
reader group, and that's it. And I'm just like
Girl.
overwhelmed.
I've got at any time 50 to 60 active chats on Facebook at any time. It's crazy. I'm just like, this is insane.
I just pass out. Like, I get so overwhelmed by I keep getting Discord notifications right now, and I'm gonna have like 90 Discord messages whenever I'm done here, and I'm just dreading looking at my phone.
It's crazy. It's at the point now it's comical. I'll tell my husband, yeah, I opened up another Facebook group, and he's just like, Rebecca. Oops. We have a website now. We just went live. No one knows this. I haven't announced it. But if you go to www.FanGrrrl.rex.com, with the 3 R's for the growl, we now have a website. So
Yay!
yeah,
Yay!
Amy Reynolds, my best friend, and she's also a moderator in the group. She taught herself WordPress and did the entire website in the past 2 weeks.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Yeah, all for free, just to help me out to get us ready so we had it for FFB. I'm just like, this is insane. Yeah, it's really cool. So now we have a website. So it's very exciting. So anyways, all right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for coming on. This has been awesome. It's been really fun.
Yeah,
Thanks so much.
I know we went a little bit longer than we expected, but it was just such a good time. Just a little bit longer. Just a little bit.
It's fine.
All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to post this. This will be in all the announcements and all the groups everywhere it is. I'm also going to upload it to the YouTube channel, and then you can share that link in your groups too, because YouTube is public, and the quality will be the best on YouTube. It'll be 1080 HD. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Great.
All right.
Thank
Bye, guys.
you.
Thank
Bye.
you.